Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be talking about how to attract. If you're new here, my name is Ella, but you can call me Lala. Okay, so let's get serious. This topic is very scientific, very quantum, and I am absolutely obsessed with the whole manifestation thing. I think we all are in this generation, but it's not something that isn't completely baseless. This is a very scientific topic and there's levels to this. So I found this on Pinterest and this is what motivated me to speaking this topic. It's a fairly simple 6-step process to how to do it. It says number 1, calm your nervous system. This is like going out into nature, journaling, shadow work. Ask your soul what it truly wants. Same thing. Focus on your intention. Be specific. Imagine the feeling of having it. Let go of expectations and dwell in gratitude. Now that sounds fairly simple, but a lot of us wouldn't really agree because sometimes you can do it right and then the other time you just don't know what's going on. And there's blockages sometimes. There's fear about, oh, what if it never happens or there's not enough time? Well, I'm going to give you 6 scientific facts that can literally break down all of your fears, because fear is just not knowing. But when you know, you don't have any reason to fear. Okay, now I'm going to introduce to you 7 universal laws that govern our whole entire universe. Number 1, law of mentalism. This basically states that all is mind, and that's quite true. In fact, the only way we can actually experience this 3D reality is through our mind. Without that, we're really nothing. And then it says law of correspondence is the next one. This states as above, so below. Again, as above in your mind, so below in your reality. So whatever you're thinking is what you're going to be living and attracting. So the third law is the law of vibration. This is a law that states that everything is in constant state of motion. Well, this is quite obvious because we're all made of atoms and everything that is solid is actually just atoms moving. And this is a pretty cool thing that I just recently heard about. Basically, when you're not observing something, it's a wave. It's just light waves flowing. But when you put your eyes on them, then they turn into particles. It seems like everything is aware of what's going on. It's giving movie. The fourth law is the law of polarity. This is basically a law that states that everything is in opposites. There's good and bad, dark and light, and a lot of different things. You've got 2 eyes, 2 nostrils, 2 buns. It's just everything's in opposites. So you really cannot have the good without the bad in this universe or dimension. The 5th law is the law of rhythm. This is kind of very similar to the law of polarity, but this is the law that states that everything has a similar ebb and flow of energy, like a pendulum motion. So if the pendulum flows one way, it's got to flow the other way as well. And then the 6th law is the law of cause and effect. This is also a law that states that every action has a consequence and there's a ripple effect to everything that you do, which we do not like to think about, but it very much is the truth. And then the 7th law, which is the last law, is the law of gender. And this states that everything has a masculine and feminine side and everything is both at the same time. It's very interesting. And knowing these universal laws can help you when you want to create, because this is how everything was created. And these laws can be bent a little bit because they're not so linear like the karmic law, where it's like you're gonna get bad for doing bad and you're gonna get good for doing good. There's like different things that go into everything because number 1, all is mind, you know? So we're gonna start with the technique of how to attract. Now, let's look at the word attract, because quite literally, the word tells you how to do it. Act. Hopefully this isn't mirrored, but yes, the only way to attract is to act. people don't realize, but we're acting every single day. When you look at your neighbor, you've got like a mask going on. The only time you're not acting is when you're by yourself. And sometimes people are still acting by themselves. They can't really tell the masks from who they truly are. When you think about movies, for example, what do they say before they start acting? Lights, camera, action. So that's basically how it's done. Lights. Everything is light. Consciousness is light. We need to be able to use light in what we want to do. When people talk about manifestation, the one thing they talk about is thinking and feeling and imagining. And scientifically, this is all just light being used. So when you think about something, there's light photons emitting from your brain and going out into the universe. And just like radio waves. So thought waves are the same thing, which is so cool. That's why you need to be very careful of the way you think. Obviously, we can't have good thoughts without negative thoughts, but you can totally have control over your emotions and know what to understand. Because, okay, for example, yesterday I was writing songs and I have so much fun like rapping like Jay-Z, but I couldn't get the same like feeling of it, and I got really pissed and I was like, oh, I'll never be as great as Jay-Z. Which is such a funny thought, but obviously that's gonna happen if you're frustrated, if you're feeling sad and kind of hungry. I was super hungry as well. So, but at the same time, all I did was get up and do something else or sing something else and just change it. And if you're too happy, you can just go to sleep and wake up and you can just be balanced. I think that's the most important thing in this whole cosmic universe type law shit. I'm trying so hard to sound so smart with it, guys. Like, bear with me. But yeah, it's just really to act. So one thing I like to do is when I go outside, I like to imagine money raining down on me. Rain down on me, let your love. Even if it's not true, somewhere in there it's true. And who can fight your thoughts? When you dream, things that are unimaginable just magically happen. And that's a different kind of dimension. They say thoughts are like 4-dimensional because they're not like fixed in this reality like we are. They're completely out there. So you can go from the past to the present to the future just in your thoughts. Okay, so you can have future thoughts like literally right now. And that's where the acting thing comes in, because you can act with your thoughts and be like, oh, I already have this, I already have that, and live in that moment. Because by the time you finish thinking and you finish acting as if, you're like the light photons that you've emitted and the vibration that you've emitted to the universe and to everyone around you, because they pick up on your energy as well, it'll just suddenly start to form into its own reality. That's how like thoughts and light become atoms, basically. True story. To break it down a little bit more of how to act as if, you basically just use your 5 senses and 6th sense, which is kind of imagination. So the 5 senses are sight, smell, hearing, taste, and touch. I don't know why I could not memorize that. This is one of my favorite ways to kind of manifest is using water. I love sitting by water and drinking water because that water is how your brain works, guys. And water has a lot of secrets that we don't even know ourselves. Leonardo da Vinci had a whole theory and study of water that Bill Gates actually bought for like almost $30 million. So that's a very important study. I wonder what's in there. I need to find out. But for what I know, water is very intelligent, very not from here, definitely from out there. And it carries a lot of information. So when you're drinking water, it kind of like picks up on these thought waves as well. And when you're speaking, and your air is coming out of your mouth, that's kind of like its own science as well. So when you're speaking, speak with intention. The Bible says the tongue is very powerful, and that's very true. And drinking water while you're doing your positive affirmations or whatever you're doing is very important. Like there was a study done on water basically where this Japanese scientists spoke to the water molecules, and he spoke negative things like horrible things of fear and poverty, and the water crystallized into very low vibrational atoms and just looked very ugly. But when he spoke love, peace, and light, the water looked very vibrant and beautiful. I'll put the pictures here because these are real studies done. Also, this ties into the fact that we also live in a very delayed reality. Like this three-dimensional reality is not permanent and it's not happening in real time. Like I'm filming this video now, but 7 seconds before, I already filmed what I already spoke about, or it already happened, and I'm just living it right now. It's very interesting and very intricate how weird it is. But there was a study done, basically their brains were being recorded, like what was happening, and they were showing them videos of bad things happening and good things happening, and sometimes it looked like the brain was already like what's the word, seeing into the future almost. So 7 seconds before they showed them what was happening, their brain already like picked up on what was going to happen and started reacting, and then the reaction happened when they saw what happened. But your brain already knows it. It's like this is a delayed reality we're living in. It's so interesting. Like, so basically decisions that you've made were already made. It's crazy. That's why you need to kind of think futuristic. You cannot think so one-dimensionally or now, because there's no such thing as now. Time doesn't even exist. It's a complete paradox. Yeah. Now, all of these things I might be saying to you might not be clicking instantly, but you can definitely go research all of this and just try to contemplate and realize what is really going on. Because number one, you need to know who you are, what you are, and how you are. A lot of people don't know who they are, which is okay. But the first step to knowing who you are is your name or your nickname, what people may call you, what people refer to you as, but most importantly, your name. Because names carry frequencies and vibrations themselves, and they can be very high vibrational or low vibrational. That's why you need to name your children nice things. And even when you get nicknames, make sure your nicknames are something good as well. Like, don't be getting called anything crazy. Shut it down. Yeah, so I definitely challenge you to go research what your name is. Like, search up just the meaning of your name. And whatever it is, it's like, one of my favorite names are Nicole, because that means victory to the people. And my name is Ella, which kind of means God is with us. Yes. And then what you are. Human beings are solid, but they're also light beings. And this basically means we're just the same thing as every other multidimensional being in this universe. There's nothing so like straightforward and 1D about us. Like, we can be 3D, 4D, 5D, and all the way up there. There's something called superposition, and it's basically how this whole universe was created, where things are stacked, dimensions are stacked on top of each other. So people like Jay-Z and Beyonce, they think kind of like that, where they are controlling the set. Like, imagine your life is a set, it's a movie, and you're the actor, but you're also the director, and you're also the supervisor, and it's very interesting. But this is how people manifest. And then most importantly, everything that ties it all together is the emotion. You can't have acting without emotion. Emotion is energy in motion, and it's basically the language of God. That's what I've heard. It's like basically the God frequency. And the best way to use, like the strongest kind of emotion is love. Yes, because it vibrates at such a high energy and it's very beautiful. But then also something very interesting, when you have good and bad emotions, to us, they kind of feel different because we're like forced to feel so separated in our thinking. But outside on a spectrum of frequency, there it's all the same thing. So if someone is giving you bad energy, you can transmute that. Yes, you can alchemize. It's important to think like an alchemist whenever you're doing anything, because every day you're transforming. It's your whole thing to transform. From when you cook, when you paint, when you do anything that you're putting life into something, it's a transforming process that we all do every day. And we just need to get more comfortable with that and know that we are innately powerful manifestors and powerful thinkers. That's what I think people need to know a lot more. And obviously, the biggest confusion I feel is prayer, because people think manifesting and prayer is so different, but I don't think it's that different. Praying can fall into begging, which is not the way to pray. My parents are very good prayers. I'm very thankful for that, because they pray over me and speak life into me a lot, even when I'm not around. So I know it's like I'm always safe. But I think prayer is more of like a commanding thing, where when you're speaking like the tongue is very powerful in it. So that's just basically what prayer is as well. And now I'm gonna tell you guys my testimony, because this is one of the coolest things that happened to me. I basically manifested a whole mansion, living in a mansion, just by imagining myself in a white room that's big enough. I wasn't like extremely specific, but just the feeling of being homeless, I was like, got no other choice but to put my whole energy into thinking about what I want and just making it happen. And that is the end of the video. I'm so sorry my camera cut off, but I hope you guys enjoyed and I hope you learned something. And I will add that another way to reprogram your subconscious mind is with subliminals.